First of all, you have several Venezuelans on your team. They're dealing with a lot right now, obviously, Barracuda especially. The way he was able to perform with some of that stuff going on yesterday and what they're all dealing with now. What are kind of your thoughts as a leader?
Yeah, I'm kind of late to the party on news. I tell you all that. I don't know if you take it, with sincerity or not. And I think some others were too, because Drew, for instance, mentioned something seemed a little off. Offensive meeting, same thing. He just kind of kept things to himself, but obviously he was battling that deal the whole day. So to do that in that moment is pretty tough to put into words. And then he dealt with the situation that obviously happened with his brother. But I believe he, Budo, and Luis are all dealing with or waiting to hear on missing teammates or other people that they know. So, yeah, I don't think you can. I know some people in this area may have familiarity with the damage an earthquake can do, but I don't know how you really comprehend what's going on for them, and much less what's going on for everybody else over there. And I don't know, just a reminder, if anything, that life is too serious and it's very difficult. So got to laugh every now and then. You got to enjoy moments like last night, and you got to embrace good people no matter who they are.
Is Devers DHing because of the hamstring?
A different occasion at first base on defense. Just a little bit of discomfort, and it's just again, that was all sincerity too. Just a conversation that had been ongoing in Miami with the hammy, and then a stretch over at first base, just a little bit of minor discomfort. But it's not like a Rise's situation, like, hey, he's got something going on, he can't go. It's 1A and 1B for us over there. Bryce is out there, that's why I'm pointing to Bryce. So they're interchangeable.
Have you thought of just the job he's done? Bryce seems pretty.
Yeah, he's on a few clips that we want to show the guys yesterday. Again, it was just such a team effort. There were so many different people involved, and so the fun thing on the clips is it's somebody different on each one, and it's just a bunch of things that helped us stay in a game where we weren't. I thought they did a hell of a job against Jump, but we didn't have anything to show for it on the scoreboard. So speaks to what he can do, helping his teammates by getting on base. It's just, everyone thinks Bryce is just a power guy, but he's found different ways to get on base, move runners, and then defensively, I don't know how natural it is to him because he was so good on the mound like we've talked about, but he's worked his butt off to make it look like it's a natural spot for him.
What kind of force could he be over there given his height, his wingspan, when he really gets accustomed to the spot?
Yeah, there were a few times in spring training, in particular the road games, is when he was soaking up a lot of innings over there, and I had mentioned to Mess and Frank, could anyone else in the league have caught that ball? And not because he wasn't a dig or something that required skill, it was just the length. Obviously the A's got their own big guy over there, and we'll see the Braves, same thing. But I don't think either one of those guys can cover as much area as Bryce, and as a former infielder, it just alleviates a lot of things in your head when you field that ball. You have a huge amount of comfort throwing the ball over there. And again, I think Rafi was relatively new to the position at the start of the year. He's kind of done the same thing of gaining the guy's confidence. And if anything, Rafi's kind of shined on the pop-ups and also showing his arm off over there too.
Luis said he was feeling better. Would you still maybe try to stay away from them with a day game after a night game and then a night game tomorrow?
Yeah, I think today is going to be more about if it's an emergency situation and he feels good from the treatment he gets today. He got 2 rounds of all kinds of stuff yesterday. So if something changes game time where it increases how he feels, or it feels a little bit better, maybe an opportunity to pinch hit. But I think you mentioned we got a pretty good window here to get him rested up.
I know we've asked you a lot this year about, potential lineup guys and Jung-Hoo. With Chat, what's sort of the decision-making process when you're looking at today, and you've got Chapman, but you've got somebody like Jung-Hoo swinging a hot bat?
Yeah.
Profiles maybe more as a leadoff hitter?
Yeah, I think we've, tried not to go too much into the matchup stuff with the lefty situation. And then the one thing that we have done, so it's not like we're afraid to do it, is bunch those guys up and set it up for, in particular, a couple lefties they got down there that'll be pretty tough out of the bullpen. And then part of it is where guys feel comfortable and where guys have had success. The numbers can be a headache looking at them, but also there's I think a lot of value in there. Some of them hidden where you dig in and, see where guys perform. So ultimately for us, we just want to get something stringing along where we can put something together in an inning that's maybe more than one. But hey, it might be a game like last night where it could just be one inning that sets us up for success.
At some point, does that maybe potential extra at bat in a game maybe factor in when somebody's
it can, and I think that's one of the reasons why Bryce was up in the 2-hole swinging a hot bat. I think numbers are going to level off for everybody, but he still looks ultra comfortable in the box. But yeah, we always talk about the 1 and 2 spot, having an extra at bat, especially Rollison was Chappie's first day. We thought they'd try and stretch Rollison, back to the top of the order lefties and give 2 at-bats instead of 1 for Chappie against a lefty. So today, I hope it's not 3. I hope we can do some damage. But yeah, that's always taken into account.
Hey, Tony, I'm curious to get your thoughts about your first year. You're halfway through the season. You've had a chance to kind of get yourself into the whole feeling of being a major league manager. What have you learned the most? What's been the toughest thing for you as a manager?
Yeah, I think the toughest thing right now is attacking the record you have every day. You want to hunt down wins, and we've got some young players that you want to play, and you got some veterans too that you want to give them their space to do the thing that has got them to this point. But trying to hunt down wins, and the record's the only frustrating part about everything. I think maybe the biggest challenge in talking to a college coach this morning about a player was just telling them it's different to find avenues and lanes. I've mentioned it a bunch, to either work on something or address something. And there are opportunities. It's kind of wild. We're here all day, all of us. But even when the game starts, we're not all together, because a lot of times tomorrow's starting pitcher might be back up there getting treatment or whatever it might be. And then probably the toughest and quickest lesson was this is many, 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 many days in a row. So to get too down on a loss or get too excited about a win, and then everything that kind of falls under those 2 categories, it's certainly a lesson learned.
I remember Dusty Baker always used to talk about maybe almost half the job was dealing with the athletes, being able to understand them, work with each one of them. Has that been a particular challenge? Because you never coached or played. We know about your experience. You're dealing with guys that are veterans. Some of them are kids, but a lot of them have played. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think a little bit has been less about age and more about just time. I mean, the more you're around somebody, if you start dating somebody for a week, you may think you know who they are, but if 4 months goes on and there's some ups and downs, some things you got to deal with, and you got to comfort somebody at some point, you get to celebrate something at some point. Now you know a little bit more about where someone's coming from, and then that relationship's got deeper roots.